Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. We have I am GanZi starting at the 6 o'clock location as the blue Terran, 9 o'clock location. We have MVP Genius, trust me on that, as the purple protoss. This is from FXOpen. I'm really glad to see Koreans and foreigners mixing it up in more and more tournaments, including in the GSL. Sheth from FXO ending up there and having a really good run. But before I get too in-depth in this game, be sure, I know there's the bill out there, which a lot of people are concerned about. In fact, I think it would make it, my personal opinion, is the entire, honestly, the entire patent, copyright, informational, just all of it needs to be reformed. I really think it's ridiculous that a layman can't, your average citizen basically can't read laws and interpret them, and I think that's, it's one point when you can't do it because you don't have time to. It's another thing when you can't do it because you basically can't read and understand the document that's laid in front of you. But that's a rant altogether. Be sure to, if you're in the United States, to message your congressman about the bill because it's a completely different world to them. Really, the internet, and you're basically talking about people that are coming to the internet very late, maybe even technophobic, and really don't understand the implications of the bill. And really, I do think it would make it just bureaucratically difficult to get anything accomplished as a caster in general. All the YouTube I assume that YouTube would play it safe, and that you see a drop essentially in all YouTube content that's gaming related, probably in Justin TV as well. And that's all I'll say on the topic. I can't provide you all individually with your representative's stuff, but Google's right there for you. Check it out. And yeah, please support the community as best you can, and at least express your concerns to your local congressman. Anyhow, 13 gateway. Looks like we're seeing a simulator on 15 supply, and a pylon to follow it up. This is on TerminusRE, by the way. There's GanZi going out with the barracks, and it looks like he is in fact going for a 1 racks into expansion build. I was kind of hoping to see a Hellion style of play. I love Hellions on this map because it not only opens up the taking of the natural expansion, it also opens up taking your third base, because you can just stage the Hellions here, have that threat, and essentially your protoss opponent cannot exit his main base. I assume just because of that potential Hellion threat, we will see a Stalker to start out here from Genius. It's kind of interesting because I feel like initially Terran kind of sets the pace on what build they decide to do, but after that, once he sees this 1 racks into expansion build, it's going to be up to Genius to kind of do the reaction, and he'll be able to take the tempo. The orbital command now out. There is that command center finishing. The problem with this, with the no gas fast expansion build, is it's an incredibly long period of time before you can put pressure on your protoss opponent, particularly if he gets any number of stalkers out. Even with the single stalker threat, it can be dangerous. Looks like that probe scouting the long way around. He is now starting to move his way to the 6 o'clock location there. A Marine should greet him. Still might have potential to get at least some information scout. No, getting completely denied. Maybe assuming a natural expansion here, though. As if he heading to the north, and wow, he was denied quite a bit of territory. Now that Stalker out, that Stalker actually is probably going to be forced to move to the 6 o'clock location as well, just to make sure that that was a fast expansion. Very uncomfortable place for Genius to be in. He has taken a 1 racks, or I should say 1 gateway into expansion build as well. And again, he's in a much better position to put pressure on his opponent, but he doesn't really know that he's going to be able to here. Simply because, and actually going to run up to kill that SCV first, simply because he doesn't really know for sure what GanZi is up to. So killed that SCV, denied some outfield scouting information. 6 o'clock location, natural expansion is in fact up. 2 additional barracks, still no gas for GanZi. He's going to need that to push tech very, very rapidly, because if you let that happen for too long, the game can kind of get away from you. That Stalker taking a long time to sneak here to the 6. Perhaps assuming that he didn't see a Hellion up to this field, he knows in fact that he's in kind of a safer position. Sentry protectively, just to guard that ramp just in case, because he could have this Nexus up, let the Hellions hit it, and still force field that ramp and be okay. Now going to wander up as soon as he sees that bunker. Now he knows he's got a fast expansion behind it, and not absolutely sure, but mostly sure, and he should be safe. Actually saving a lot of chrono boost. Kind of curious what the reasoning is behind that, but getting a couple additional gateways. You can see the additional preventative sentry. So going to be 3 gateway into robotics facility. Might even want to open up Observer first, just to get an idea of what GanZi is fully up to, whether he's going for additional expansions or teching to follow this up. And this is kind of the complaint that a lot of players have in open field. Looks like that Stalker got brushed off, took a lot of damage. Already has a kill. Is going to get another, well, the SCV kill is going to get another one. Explosion of blood on that Zelnaga watchtower and escape the Marines. And here's the problem. Yeah, Stalker's just more mobile. They can kite these Marines very effectively, even in single numbers. Look like, is that probe going to get out? Yeah, the probe is in fact going to get out. And with just 3 Marines without a stim pack upgrade, there's not a lot of pressure he can put on Genius at all, and he doesn't really even want to risk an open engagement with Stalkers, because otherwise he could end up losing a lot of his Marines with just they're separated, it looks like 5-5 He has to keep the additional back just in case he, in fact, loses those Marines out in open field. Stimpack has just started upgrading, and there's the factory about halfway done to follow. Supply equals everything going out. Another question for GanZi is, does he take an additional expansion? Does he play more tech heavy? And the same question is to Genius on the opposite end. He's getting a handful of zealots. Has a lot of sentries out, so going to be playing very force field heavy, which is somewhat counterintuitive, there we go, on this map. This leads me to believe he is in fact going for a third base rather than for some sort of attack or push, although this is something you generally want against that early Marine composition in general, just in case he does go for a lot of Marines. You can just split that army in half very, very easily, crush half of it, and then that army is essentially completely neutralized. But when you're talking about sentries out in an open field, you can see there's a lot of space to kite around, move around, so it's very difficult. You basically have to engage in a very favorable position. But no, it looks like he is in fact going to move out with just 4 sentries, 4 zealots, and a single stalker. Hope he can get a force field surround on some of these Marines. Looks like there's already a Marauder on the low ground as well. Factory grabbing that reactor to switch on that starport. GanZi is going to stick to a Marauder Marine composition here. So using that factory, you get lots of early Marines, tech labs to get the combat shield upgrades. Probably going to see concussive shells as well to slow his Protoss opponents in the meantime. Looks like an observer got taken out as well. Got the sound of the explosion, but probably not the visual on it. So a kind of even Marauder Marine composition with a lot of starport backup in the air medevacs to heal that army up. And now Genius, yeah, look, I think he's saving up to take additional expansion. He does have that robo up. He's also getting a forge to get some early weapon upgrade. There's a robotics bay, but still, interestingly enough, no Colossi in production for him, which surprises me a bit. I would expect seeing this composition there. Okay, there's a Colossi. Feels just a little bit slow there, and we should see just endless chrono boost on that. Also, a very quick armory upgrading for GanZi, perhaps to push those upgrades. Level 1 is going to be about halfway finished. I think he's going to actually press this attack where he can. Pile in the upper right-hand corner for Genius. Kind of an interesting play, maybe to just kind of look for the mobile route of units. He also has this incredible observer catching all sorts of information, just going to be able to keep a good eye on that troop count and know what position he's in currently. But if you just look at the flat troop counts, 4 Stalkers, 4 Sentries, 4 Zealots, 17 Marines, 5 Marauders, plus the mobility of that medevac. And speaking of mobility of the medevac, already dropping in that low ground and going to be able to cut off this expansion before it starts. You might want to load back up and get out of there! Looks like the medevacs are going to survive, but still able to slow that expansion down, give Genius something to think about. And if we see more troops, actually, even this is where I'd love to see even a sneaky Hellion or something like that towards the front. He can't engage all these troops to that rear, otherwise he's going to run into trouble. Wow, brilliant turnaround, though, to catch that SCV as he was trying to press up and get more scouting information. Factory is not going to be in use. It wants to just float up here. Again, just see what sort of infrastructure he's up against. There's the second, looks like the second Colossi in production. Another pylon. This is kind of interesting. I'm almost wondering if the play for Genius is to basically take his 3 o'clock base at the same time as, and basically go for kind of catty corner positions, and then warp in units from either end and kind of make it more difficult. This is interesting. He's just floating with that zealot. I'm gonna watch out with that zealot. Okay, now the medevacs to that top end. Still no third base. More of a unit fill-in. Looks like Thermal Lance is just going to finish as this drop is entering, but not a lot of troops to help defend against this, and it looks like this is not, in fact, okay, maybe it has been scouted. Okay, now it's been scouted. Pushing up. Yeah, Probe's going to get annihilated here. Troops just kind of streaming in here and there, and this is really, okay, medevac sneaks out. Granted, this isn't doing a huge amount of damage, but it is, in fact, keeping Genius's economy slowed bit by bit, because that's still mining time he's losing, that's still time he's having to switch back around, that's still distraction time. Probe's still at the 12 o'clock location. I just assume to drop more pylons, keep an eye on these medevac routes, or maybe even try to deny additional expansions that might be coming out in the field, but currently 4 medevacs out in the field, a sizable army. GanZi does have map control. He's taking his third base. And I'm wondering if we're going to see him go in for a sizable attack once that level 1 weapons hits. He's going to be going up against 3 Colossi, and he really doesn't, this would be a difficult gap to shoot. But if he elevators large portions of his troop, it could be very, very difficult to engage. And you can see it looks like Genius already realizes this, in fact, and he's keeping troops behind this gas wall. He's trying to guard this third. With that medevac support, they just have a lot of area that they can harass at. Observer is going to catch a lot of this troop composition, but at the same time, it's going to see a large army gathering up, and it looks like a formidable army indeed. That is a lot of Vikings to pound away at those Colossi. A huge amount of Marauders, and if they can kite away from those Colossi, they're going to be doing a ton of damage. Level 1 weapons, level 1 armor are, in fact, now upgraded. GanZi, it looks like, just playing it. I think that missile turret just finished. So missile turret must have just finished, got that detection. Looks like a Marine. Just checking out additional expansion. GanZi's feeling like he's in a strong economic lead. Is just making sure that Genius didn't take any additional expansion across the top of the map. The problem for him is once you take this 3 o'clock, he has mobility problems just like Genius does. So usually it's best to get in a really strong position in your opponent's face and basically keep him pinned back defending at this sort of location at this stage. Preventative cannon there for Genius. Again, worried about that back-end drops, level 1 weapons coming alongside. Now a Ghost Academy for GanZi as he's starting to filter out. Pretty close, actually, to a maxed army, and this is the exact composition he wants to work with. Marines, highly upgraded, as well as those Marauders, level 2 weapon upgrades, level 3 and level 2 on the way. Tons of Vikings to deal with those Colossi on the front. Looks like they were clearing up some Archons on the front door. Gonna plug, but I would not. Yeah, they're starting to press in. The Vikings trying to get free shots, trying to angle across while the rest of the army gets in position. Genius has to play this extremely carefully, cycling around, catching it. Archon taking some damage, and it looks like they're just getting picked off to the low ground, exposed. Wow, Vikings excellent positioning on those Colossi. The rest of the troops being pincered across, and they are eating the full brunt of that attack army. But Genius able to swing around. The Colossi getting full depth, but it does not look like it's enough. Now the Vikings landing to support this army, and it looks like through beautiful positioning, GanZi is in fact going to be able to crush this front door and continue this attack and perhaps win the match right here. Factory floating overhead as well. Natural expansion certainly going to fall. A lot of probes going to be killed. Zealots trying to actually sneak behind, but yeah, it's too little too late. Nice positioning there at the end by GanZi. GG. Well played. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, contact your senator. Help us out if you like anything esports related on YouTube, or anything, I guess, gaming related on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. And just in case this is in fact the end, it's been an honor commentating for you guys. And I don't say that enough, is really what it comes down to. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening, and thanks for all the support.